Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our current session focuses on developments in the study of language variation. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would have insights into the studies of language variation. Well, my dear students, I hope and expect that you know that Labor was the first person who contributed towards the study of language variation. He, in fact, initiated these studies. Martha's Vineyard's study was one significant step that he took, and it was a huge contribution in the sense that it opened up the field into a completely new direction, thus bringing in the social and the cultural aspects in the study of varieties of language. He also focused on and claimed that variation is natural, and it not only varies from person to person and group to group, it also varies for the same individual when the same individual is put into different socio-cultural contexts and settings. So after him, there was a lot of work that was conducted in this field, and a lot of variations of methods and perspectives are also introduced. So in this session, I would just focus on some significant steps that were taken into the study of language variation. For instance, I would refer to Biber 1995, who provides framework of multi-feature, multi-dimensional, that is called MFMD analysis. This became very popular in sociolinguistics. They explored register and genre variation from three different perspectives. What were those perspectives? First was the synchronic perspective that Biber worked on, and in 1985, 87, and 88, the findings were shared. The second aspect was where, in collaboration with Feingen in 1989, the diachronic aspects, synchronic is the spatial, kind of division, how at the same time, simultaneously different varieties exist. Diachronic is, more the historical context where, in the timeline, how through the times, some particular varieties develop in terms of differences or in terms of similarities. So Biber conducted these researches through this method in 1989. And then finally in 1995, Biber's work focused more on the contrastive aspects of, these variations within language. Biber's MFMD analysis framework has been well received as it establishes a link between the form of language and the function of language, the structure of language and what social function is performed through that, what social purpose that form serves. The multidimensional approach to register variation was originally developed for comparative analysis, actually, of spoken and written registers in English language. When it comes to methodologically looking at it, the approach uses computer-based text corpora. Now you need to understand what is a corpus or what is corpora. A corpus is a large collection of computer-generated data, which most of the times is based on, the natural occurrences, and it is collected through computational tools to identify linguistic features in different texts, and multivariate statistical techniques are used when they are applied on this data to analyze the co-occurrence relationships between language features, how a particular linguistic feature co-occurs in the data, and what is the frequency of its occurrence, etc. General characteristics of this approach are following. It is, as I have already said, it is corpus-based, depending on the analysis of a large data. When any research, by the way, is corpus-based, it already, becomes clear that the data would be huge because it is collected, it is generated on computers. And as I have already said, it is mostly naturally occurring texts. Secondly, it uses automated computational techniques to analyze linguistic features in text. So, it is more like a machine analysis. This character helps in what ways? It helps enabling distributional analysis of many linguistic features across many texts and text varieties. You know, for a huge data where human, on human grounds, humanly it is not possible otherwise to enumerate the data, to count the data, to tabulate the data, to compare the frequencies and to find out the frequencies and to index the similarities and differences where otherwise humanly it is not possible. Because of the use of computer, then it becomes possible. Thirdly, it uses interactive computational techniques to check the analysis of ambiguous linguistic features, ensuring accuracy in the final feature counts. And fourthly, the important aspect is that the research goal of this approach is the linguistic analysis of texts, registers, and text types rather than the analysis of individual contributions. Because the data is in the form of corpus, it is a huge data, so it does not deal with individuals' choices. It deals with how in a particular genre, in a particular text, in a particular setting, in a particular register, for example, particular structures or words or pronunciations or vocabulary items, etc. are used. Fifthly, the approach is explicitly multidimensional. It does not look at one dimension, it explores multiple dimensions. That is, it is assumed that multiple parameters of variation will be operative in any discourse domain. So one of the contributions of this method of Biber was that, it would believe in multiplicity. It would believe in that there are multiple dimensions to the analysis because there are multiple dimensions to the parameters that operate in bringing those kind of variations. And sixthly, because this is, again, as I said, corpus-based data, a huge data, so of course the approach that is taken is quantitative. It is not qualitative. It is more based on counting. It is more based on making graphs. It is more based on, indexing through numbers and charts. So analyses are based on frequency counts of linguistic features, describing the relative distributions of features across different texts that are a part of the corpus. In fact, this approach synthesizes quantitative and functional methodological techniques. That is, the quantitative statistical analyses are interpreted in functional terms. So, overall, this approach made a huge contribution towards the study of dialects in sociolinguistics.